While spending 2 weeks with my daughter in hospital for an ongoing condition, don't panic, she's okay, we decided to use our time wisely and to help pass the long dull days too, and explore the children's version of both Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. So come with me on this slightly different video to see what my little book review buddy Emily, yes I know, another Emily, and I thought of these adaptations. Have I created another Brontë fan or put her off for life? Will she understand them? Have the writers done a good job? Well, let's see. So why am I looking into children's books, you might ask? Well, I wanted to know if these things are possible. Can an adaptation of such a famous novel with a complex storyline and dated language be suitable for a child, yet still keep the essence of the book? Can they cover some hard subjects in a way that children understand? Will a novel written over 100 years ago be of interest to a child, or does the time period get in the way? Will she see the characters as I have, say nice ones and bad ones, etc., or will she see it from a completely different angle? And how will the book deal with the violence? My worry has always been that the sisters wrote these books very much for adults, and some of the subject matter can be hard for an adult to read at times. We have the death of a good friend in Jane Eyre and cruelty in Wuthering Heights, and these are subjects we normally wouldn't encourage a child to read. But when I spoke to Emily about this, she reminded me there's a lot of death in Harry Potter, and scary characters and cruelty and violence. Roald Dahl has witches killing children as well as giants giving them bad dreams and teachers throwing children around by their hair. So maybe Emily is right. Children can and have digested subjects like this before. Maybe modern views make us worry more than a few generations ago. Maybe children have a good understanding of good and bad, right and wrong, and can separate fiction from real life more than we give them credit for. Emily was more than happy to be my Brontë guinea pig, so we packed our children's versions as well as a ton of biscuits, some snacks and of course my Yorkshire tea bags, and we headed for the hospital. We chose different publishers for each book to see how they did. The Jane Eyre edition we read is by Usborne Young Readers and is a 64-page hardback with each page having coloured illustrations. It cost £5.99. The Wuthering Heights version we read is published by Easy Classics, which is Sweet Cherry Publishing, and is a 112-page paperback, again with illustrations on most of the pages, but this copy also offered a free audiobook version of it. It was priced at £6.99. Emily read Wuthering Heights to herself first, and then we read it together. I mean, hey, we had the time, so why not? Plus, I wanted to see for myself what the books were like, and of course to feed my Brontë obsession. Then she read Jane Eyre, and so I had to. I mean, just for research, of course. Her questions were valid and varied, and some a bit random, and the funniest was, why is Pilot the dog called Pilot? Did they have aeroplanes back then? For those of you who would like to know, a pilot back then was a name given to someone who would come aboard a ship and navigate it through dangerous waters on behalf of the crew, because they had local knowledge. See? Every day is a school day on my channel. Right, over to you, Emily. Let's see what you thought.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I've been reading Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. So, Wuthering Heights. I liked the cover with the cartoon characters. It made it more appealing to children. The colours and the style of the clothes are oldie-worldy, so you know it's set in the old days. But the story doesn't give you a clue about when it was set. The illustrations inside are also cartoon, but they are all in black or white. I love the expression of the characters' faces. Mr. Lockwood has a chin that looks like a bottom. That's funny. At the start of the book is a family tree. This was helpful because everyone is related. Some people have the same names too. Heathcliff. He starts off as a nice boy, but slowly he becomes really mean. I don't know how he's made his money when he went away for 3 years. He's horrid to most of the women in the book and spends all his time being angry. He even uses his son to get revenge. I don't like him much by the end of the book. Cathy. She is mean to everyone too. She hits Nellie, who looks after and supports her. It's sad that Kathy gets ill and is left to be looked after by Nellie because there were no hospitals back then. That would have been horrid. Kathy wants Edgar for a nice life and money, and Heathcliff because he is her best friend. She is mean to both of them. I wish they had walked away and left her alone. Edgar. He is also mean to Heathcliff. Why is everyone so mean? And that is what started all this bother in the first place. If they had been friends as children, it would all have been okay. Hindley. He nearly dropped his own baby. But he was really sad about his wife at the time, so maybe that's why. Isabel. She should have known it was going to go wrong with Heathcliff from the start. We could all see that Heathcliff loved Kathy. She was really silly to run away. Heathcliff treated her really badly after they were married, and that is so wrong of him. He was just using her. Nellie. I'm not sure if Nellie is telling the whole truth to Mr. Lockwood. Maybe she was making the story more dramatic than it actually was. It could have been just gossip. She does a lot of sewing and talking. I like the way the two houses are described, but I like Wuthering Heights the best, with the animals round the door. You could tell from the descriptions that it was a cold and windy place on the moors. I thought it was really funny when Heathcliff flung a bowl of applesauce over Edgar's head. Catherine, the young one, not Kathy, having a horrid time after Linton died. Being locked in the house by Heathcliff. The way Heathcliff would hit people and use people to get his revenge. All the lies told and secrets everyone kept. Cousins getting married. I wouldn't want to marry my cousin. The font was an easy one to read, and I liked all the illustrations to help tell the story. The family tree was brilliant, and I used it a lot to remind me who was who. It has more pages than Jane Eyre, but because it's a paperback, it feels lighter. I think this book will be okay for anyone over 10 years old. Yes, and I think it will make more sense now because I know who is who. This book was a hardback and had traditional illustrations. I really liked them. They helped me picture the school, the house, and Jane Eyre's life, plus they were in colour. I felt the language was more like what Charlotte would have written, but I still understood it. This book was easy to tell it was based a long time ago. The school was completely different to now, and the characters travelled in carriages. Jane Eyre. She was brilliant, so tough, and even though she had a horrible time, she worked so hard. Her aunt and cousin treated her badly, as did the school, and they called her a liar. Just when she thought life was going to be okay, it went wrong again. Helen Burns. She taught Jane to forgive and was a lovely friend. It's sad that she died, but I'm pleased she wasn't scared. Shame the teachers weren't kind to her. Mrs. Fairfax and Adele. They were the first people to be kind to Jane and treated her like an equal. I thought Adele's dad could have been Mr. Rochester, and it was a secret. I'm pleased Adele wasn't a spoilt, nasty kid. I was worried she would be and Jane wouldn't enjoy teaching her. Mr. Rochester. He lied to Jane about his wife, and he hid her in the attic. That's so wrong. Had she been up there all the time they were married? All 15 years? Mr. Rochester asked Jane a lot of questions about what she likes, but we never hear about what he likes. You can tell they became friends, but he was rubbish at proposing to Jane. He made her think he was marrying someone else. He could have been a bit nicer about it. Bertha Mason. Did she jump in the end, or did Mr. Rochester push her off the roof? Someone said he was trying to save her, but what if he was trying to kill her? I felt sorry for Bertha. The start of the book with the Red Room was great. Did Jane see a ghost, or was it because of the bang to the head? I'm glad Mr. Brocklehurst got found out about his rubbish school. What happened next? Did he get punished for the way he treated all those girls? Whenever the story mentioned Grace Poole, you knew something was about to happen. Poor Grace got blamed for everything that went wrong. Mr. Mason came to the church to say Mr. Rochester was married, making the service stop. I don't know why he left it to the last minute. Maybe he just liked the drama, or it was to make Mr. Rochester confess in front of everyone. As much as I hated Lowood School for how they treated the children, it was interesting to read and see how different the school was from nowadays. How scary that so many children died of tuberculosis. How a whole gang of people went to visit Bertha to see what was wrong with her. They didn't all need to go and stare at her like an animal in a zoo. The party Mr. Rochester had at his house. It felt like he was teasing Jane in front of all his friends. If he loved her, why did he do that? The chapters had names, so you had an idea of what was coming up, and I liked that. Most pages had good illustrations that went well with the story. I loved the picture of Bertha in her nightgown, and from this picture you can tell why Jane thought she was dreaming when she saw her. There was more text in the book than Wuthering Heights, and it felt a little older too. The font was a little smaller as well, so maybe for slightly older children. Maybe secondary school age, 11 years and up. Jane Eyre wasn't as complicated as Wuthering. Jane Eyre wasn't as complicated as Wuthering Heights, but I really enjoyed this story. It had so many twists and turns, and Jane was brilliant. I wish Helen had lived. I definitely would read this again.
And there was me worried she wouldn't understand these classics. Apart from the complicated family tree in Wuthering Heights, she understood it all. I liked the books. I did feel that Wuthering Heights might have been dubbed down a little bit too much, but it covered the story well and got to the point very quickly. I didn't need to worry about violence. I think Emily imagined more than what was written, asking about Bertha's death and wanted to know if Brocklehurst was punished. It's a great start to the Brontes' work, and I hope when she's a little older she will want to explore the novels written by my favourite authors. I'm also hoping I can join her in that discovery too. Thank you for watching, and thank you to my guinea pig Emily, who is now well and back with her dog. I know this isn't my normal type of video, but when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, and that is what we did. I'll be back next Friday for more Bronte adventures, so please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments your thoughts and experiences of the children's version of the Brontes' work. I'll see you all soon.